There we go. All right. Excellent. So attracting people who aren't like you. How do you find common ground with students you don't normally interact with, attracting especially the non-believer? Um, I think one of the ways that, and this has been a quest of pastors for years, trying to figure out what will bring people to the church. The problem is, I think that's the wrong question to ask. I think what will take the church to the people would be a better question. Too many times we're worried about getting people to come to us instead of us being willing to go out. And I think we've got to understand that just sending brochures out there or covering our social media feeds with ads and then expecting people to come to us isn't always going to work. It's not going to work because they're busy, just like us. They're busy, and as a result, it's difficult for them to try to find, if they don't have a reason to kind of check out your group. There's no reason for them to put aside their busy lives and come and join us. And so I think first thing we have got to do is start thinking differently. We've got to begin thinking about, how do we get out and meet people? How do we get out in the middle of them? How do we become part of them? And there are a lot of different ways to do that, but people will come to whatever event you put on if they have a personal invitation. Many times, not every time, but many times they'll come if they have a personal invitation. And they have a personal invitation, they'll only respond to personal invitation if they know you personally. So while we have forever depended on blanketing, with thousands of flyers and then hoping for a 1% return on them, and that's typically what you get for every 1,000 flyers you send out, you get about a 1% return. As far as for evangelism meetings, it's far better, and you'll pick up far more people if you begin to just mingle. Jesus mingled with the people as for their good, Thoughts from Mount of Blessing says. He was out there just mingling with people, getting to know them, and they getting to know him as well. And so first thing we got to do is look at how do we get to know people. And you can do that any number of ways. And so I would suggest that you take a look at your social event calendar and don't be afraid to do fun things, but utilize those as a bridge to build relationships. We often say, well, and people have told me this in youth ministry through the years. I used to have church elders that got mad at me for buying pizza for my youth group because, that was frivolous expense of God's money. And I said, well, Jesus fed people with loaves and fish, but they said, well, he didn't pay for those. And I, I said, well, bless his heart, he got a donor. So would you be the donor for the pizza this week? And then they backed off. So anyway, you got to kind of meet them where they are. But take a look at your social events and begin looking at ways. Now, I think, Chris, I think that your giant chess game is a stroke of genius as far as ways to meet people. You got this giant chessboard. I know it costs you quite a few $100s, but as you get out there, I'm thinking every tabling event, if you had that set up behind your table, that's going to slow people down because everybody's interested in, oh, what move's he making here? Oh, giant chess, wow. And so the things that you want to use are things that slow people down. And when you're doing tabling, something that would slow them down definitely would be the chessboard, the cornhole game, any of those kind of things. But beyond that, we've got to begin looking at ways that we begin interacting with people more, because what we're doing right now, most of us, is we're putting it on our social media feeds, our Instagram, our Facebook, or whatever, and we're hoping people come. And quite frankly, I'm just as guilty as everybody else. It's easy. It's really easy just to post it and then hope and say, well, we had 10 people, yay. When in actuality, there are people out there who really want to belong somewhere and they don't know where to belong. They're lonely, they're isolated, and what you have to offer on a campus is a place to belong. As we said at Leadership Reboot, a place to belong even before they believe. So they can begin to feel comfortable around your group. And when that happens, they'll begin to invite their friends and their friends. And as long as you have an open, welcoming circle, Advent, Christian Fellowship chapter, those people are going to start coming. Beyond that, beyond the personal interaction, because I think that's key, that's probably number one. Beyond that, you've got to begin to ask the question, what sells? Now, obviously, as Seventh-day Adventists, we're not going to use sex, okay? Unless you're going to talk about Christian sexuality. But typically, most people, when they see Christian and sexuality in the same sentence, will say, no, I don't want that. So if you're going to use sex, it has to be a different way. But if you look at what sells, you start looking at, okay, what is it that piques my interest? What is it that piques the interest of other people in my circle? What is it we go, wow, that would be interesting to go to? Is it apologetics? Is it, fun things? Is it lectures? Is it, and I would suggest right now that some of the things you could be looking at would be, how do you find peace? By the way, I was going to ask you, Cody, how did it go with your event down there with your Christian apologist? Were you able to go to that? I know that Dr. Abate sent me a thing on it.
No, I wasn't able to go. I had work around that time.
All right. Did you hear how it went or how many people came?
I haven't heard anything about it. I didn't reach out to anyone to see how it went.
Okay. I was just curious. I actually was sitting in North American Division meetings at that point in time. And I looked at my watch thinking, should I stay here or should I jump over and try to go to that? But then they called on me. And when they called on me, I kind of had to stay there. So I just, after that, forgot about it. So, but I would say, look, how do I find peace? One of the things that people are always looking for is peace. And inner peace, the quest for inner peace has been a lifelong journey for most people because they feel anxious all the time. So you can look at things that would disturb peace as maybe topics that would be a hook: anxiety, stress, addictions, different things that block peace, different things that get in the way of good mental health. COVID has created a whole lot of things. And of course, we've had so many different things. And I know some of you guys have been addressing that in your chapters because I've been looking at your Instagram feeds. But there are so many different things that you could be doing. For instance, staying healthy during COVID. People have probably heard a bunch of that, but what about a natural approach? Weimar Institute out in California put out a video on that in which they suggested making sure that you took zinc, vitamin D, vitamin C as a regimen, because they found now with research that people who have high zinc, high vitamin D especially, and vitamin C helps your immune system, but zinc and vitamin D, they said those people, if they do get COVID, don't go to the hospital, or they're not in the hospital as long, or they typically are not life-threatened. Vitamin D, they said, is one of the biggest things that they're in the hospitals now, helping to fight this. So looking at current research and saying, look, here's some natural things you can do until we can get a vaccine, and those kind of things can help you stay healthy. But address those needs using your creativity. So you can identify needs, you can begin looking through needs, and then if you've got somebody perhaps in your chapter that can do just minute-long videos on YouTube, create a YouTube channel. One group I worked with years ago, back before ACF started, there was a collegiate group, and they wanted to do something to reach out. And so they started actually a radio ministry called Just a Minute. And they wrote scripts that were only a minute long, and they addressed different topics. And they started to record those, and they didn't even put them up until they had, or they actually didn't even put them up because that was before the internet. They actually got them on the radio, but they didn't start going to the radio until they had at least 14 scripts. And so what they did was they went to the radio station and they said, look, we know you have to give away so many public service announcements. Is it possible for us to do these just a minute things? Well, the guy heard them and he said, man, these are good. These are really good. And so they played those 14 days, they played a just a minute thing. And halfway through, they were getting such a popular, they were become so popular that the radio stations called back saying, you guys have more. We want more of these. We want to continue this series. So then they had to kick into overdrive, and they had a whole bunch of people writing for them and a whole bunch of people that were recording them. And so they continued the series called Just a Minute for over a year. And as a result, they had it at the very end from the, I forgot what college church it was, but Seventh-day Adventist Church. And they began to have people show up for their different health seminars when they were doing health seminars and doing cooking schools and doing those kind of things, because Just a Minute got in a thing. Well, why not take maybe and do a minute long or 2 minute long YouTube video that just addresses something very quickly? And as people get used to seeing your Just a Minute thing, and you can put that on your social media feeds, people can see it. You know, I don't remember what the IGTV limit is. How long can you go? Is it 60 seconds, a minute and a half? I don't remember now. Anybody know? But before it kicks into, do you want to play the rest of this video? I can't remember how long it is. Anyway, but something maybe right around that time limit, you can play the entire thing and be done. Quick tips, for example, of how to maintain balance in the stress. How to stay well naturally. How to take many breaks throughout the day to control your stress. How to plan better. How to organize your day, how to run a day planner, any kind of practical advice things that students might be looking for when they come to that point in their life going, man, I've got to get more organized. I've got to get this under control. I've got to get that under control, just to have something that suddenly shows up and they go, oh, well, that's only 2 minutes long. I'll hit that. And then if you need more ideas, let me share a screen here. Just to show you what's available. Okay, so if you go to just Adventist websites, Advent Health, for example, has one called Creation Life. And under Creation Life, they have the 8 principles that Ellen White talked about, but they've put them into an acronym for creation. So there's choice, there's rest, there's environment, there's activity, there's trust in God, there's interpersonal relationships, there's outlook and nutrition. Now, if you go to this particular website, you can click on any one of those and suddenly it expands to a whole new level, and you can actually get many things right out of that, tons of information there. And so Creation Life has got a ton of stuff. If you go there, you can explore different things. There's COVID-19 tips, online training, news and articles. They actually have a blog. You want to talk about stress and how to deal with the stress and those kind of things. If you will, let's see if I can get this across. If you will go to their blog, here's one called Stop the Stress Cycle. And if you look over here, they got attitude adjustment, living on purpose. There's tons of blog stuff that you can just direct people to or use. Here's a recipe thing. Look at that. Bean enchilada, strawberry kiwi morning smoothie. You could do a recipe channel. Banana bonbons. Come on, who would want that, right? Actually, I probably wouldn't. But succulent roasted cabbage wedges, definitely would not want that. Anyway, but there's all kind of stuff that's available already. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just begin doing some searches, especially on Adventist websites, and you're going to find there's a lot of stuff already out there. Here's another one on addictions, Adventist Recovery Ministries. Find freedom from unhealthy habits and strength to overcome any addictive behavior. And so here's a whole Adventist Recovery Ministries Global that you can get people, help them get hooked into just by making it your YouTube channel kind of a gateway to get them into some of these, and a lot of these do stuff online. And I think they even have their meetings online, meeting calendar, meeting map, search meetings, submit a meeting, make a donation, get involved. They've got all kind of things. Awareness weekends, leadership training, recovery retreats, referral services. So as you look at there, that's what I was looking for, resources. They've got all kind of stuff on there that you could actually get a hold of. And so if you just begin looking at needs-based stuff on your campus and thinking creatively, and again, I'm not saying you have to do any of these. I'm just saying, here's some ideas for you. Just even going to Google and clicking on what are ways to stay healthy from COVID-19. You will find a ton of stuff that talk about how to stay healthy naturally. So idea being, okay, how do we then take this information and begin to share it in a package that's appealing to college and university students? And you guys know the YouTube world, the Instagram world way better than I. And so it's just a matter of saying, okay, how do we take those things? How do we put those into a package that begins to appeal to, especially the secular mind? And then perhaps look at developing some mini seminars, 15 to 20 minutes in length, featuring a person that you know from a church that comes in that particular field. And again, because we're doing things on Zoom most of the time right now, you can find people that might be, in Nevada that can be an expert for you, that, could say, I'll give you 15, 20 minutes and let's just do an interview with him on YouTube, and then share that on your YouTube channel, or play it for a live event and then put it on your YouTube channel. But just a cursory glance, looking at things for myself, I was looking at, okay, what kind of mini seminars would people come to? Well, there's apologetics. That's almost always a good one. There's health, there's stress busters, there's relationships, there's nutrition and cooking. And then, you can just keep going as you brainstorm with your team and say, what would be, something that would be helpful to ministering to our fellow students on campus. And then once you do this, make sure you record all of them and put them on your YouTube channel, because YouTube, according to the Center for Generational Kinetics, is the #1 platform that Gen Zers are going to. It's far and above Instagram, Facebook. Facebook has actually fallen off the map. Interestingly enough, I just went to a Gen Z seminar from Center for Generational Kinetics. They're the guys that they actually do all the Fortune 500 companies to help them develop their ads and their advertising campaigns. And what he was saying on there a week or two ago is that, interestingly enough, Gen Z will always go back to Facebook if there's an event, because they want to get the details. So have an event page, but then YouTube and Instagram are the two hot ones where most Gen Zers are. So read through a bunch of ideas, watch videos, read blogs, then choose topics that appeal to you, brainstorm with your team, talk to others, see if those same things appeal to them. And when you find something that 3 or 4 people go, oh, that would be good, you've got a winner. Put that down and then begin developing it. Okay. And then advertise. Besides what we talked about at the beginning, which is a personal invitation, which you need to text as many people as you know and give them a personal invitation, put it on your Instagram, put it on your YouTube. And then if it's going to be a big event, make a Facebook event page. So develop those particular things, get them online, begin looking and thinking differently, and look at, or just talk to some people on campus, say, what is something that would interest you as far as a seminar, like a relationship seminar, or like, a health seminar, or some kind of, you can just begin asking people, maybe even do a survey that you can ask people to take on their phones. Use SurveyMonkey. They've got a free version of SurveyMonkey that you can just, as you're walking on the sidewalk, hey, would you be willing to take this 3-question survey? And use SurveyMonkey to do that. So there's ways that you can get that out there. And then once you find things that begin making patterns, saying, oh, we're interested in these kind of things, you can begin to set out what is it we're going to address, how we're going to address it. And then ahead of the event, according to this guy for Center Generation Kinetics, he said if you'll actually release, develop and release short sound or video bites starting about 2 weeks in advance to 1 week in advance on your social media page, couple that with your cool poster, your Canva ad, and you get twice the punch, he said. And so just alternating the different things, you know, that can go using your YouTube, using your video, using your Canva ad, and alternating those things, you can begin to attract more people. Okay, so that's basically the end of my notes. What I want to do now for the next 5 to 10 minutes, and then we're going to let you go, is you guys, let's just talk this through. What are some things that stood out to you? Okay, Shelby and Catherine had the meetings. So we got most of it done before they got there. Whew, that was fast. That was hard. So I was talking fast. So tell me, what are some things that stood out to you? What are some things or ideas that you think might work? Where do you think you might want to head with this information? Let's just talk about it. You can unmute yourself or whatever. Was this helpful?
I thought the part about the YouTube being like one of the most popular, you know, among like millennials and like our age group was interesting. I don't like being in videos, but I think it's more, I think that's more Charnay's like alley with the videos, but that was interesting. I can see how it would
Yeah.
work, right?
Yeah. And the thing is, you don't have to be in the videos if you have somebody in your friend group that can do videos. Just say, can you make me a video about this? And here's the things we'd like to communicate. There's always somebody around that likes to make videos. Look for somebody who's got a camera in their face all the time, you know, talking in their whatever. But yeah, and by the way, interestingly enough, the oldest Gen Zs graduated college last year. So the oldest Gen Zs are 1 year out of college. So if you're still in college, undergrad, you're in Gen Z now, not a millennial. Interesting. Some of you guys are on what's called cuspers, and you kind of bridge both. You're kind of in between the two, and you got some millennial stuff going on and some Gen Z stuff going on, but you are officially Gen Z. Just
that's
for the record, so you know.
Because I think I'm a millennial, because if I had went straight to college after high school, then I would have graduated like last year, maybe the year before.
So yeah, you would probably be at the very tail end of millennials, leading edge of Gen Z, and so you would be a cusper or a bridger of the generations. Boy, doesn't that make you feel special, Diamond?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I loved what you said about the videos. When I was a college student, back between like 2012 to 2016, my ACF chapter had a YouTube channel where we took people's questions that they had about Christianity, about church life, about Jesus, you know, anything along those lines. We made their answers into a video response. And one thing I found was like, I don't have the skills to do any of this. I was just praying. I was like, God, I have a passion to do this, and like, teach me what I need to know. And you know, he opened door after door. But the thing I wasn't expecting, which you touched upon with the radio station, was that people will come out of the woodwork to help you. I had people who left being Adventist who were still friends of mine, but they didn't want to do anything with that religious stuff. They were like, oh, you're doing YouTube videos? Like, man, that thing you did, that was really good. Like, I'd love to do this. And I'm like, we're like explaining the gospel. And they're like, yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. I can help with this. And I'm like, okay. But yeah, people, if you don't want to be on camera, as long as you get it started, God will send you people who love being on camera or who are great at music or, whatever you need, God will send it your way. So definitely encourage any of you guys want to take that route. It's a great way to not just reach people, but also give people who may not feel like they have a purpose to give them a purpose with the skills they have. So just definitely related with what you were saying earlier, Don.
Yeah. Anybody else? Thoughts, ideas, something that came out of that for you that you found interesting?
I just wanted to add to the thing about videos. So I've been doing different like social media marketing internships. Like, am I echoing for you guys?
Yep.
I am. Okay. I don't know why. Let me see. Okay, is this better?
A little bit.
Okay. I'll just speak because I feel like it's exactly what I'm supposed to speak.
Yeah, start again.
Okay. So I think like social media marketing internships. So like in college, and one thing I have been learning is that video content works best because it's people to interact with rather than just a graphic or like times.
I think what I heard you saying was that people at social media made you college and you can get them to help you with the graphic. Is that what you're saying?
No. Wait,
Okay, well that's turn down your speakers or whatever when you talk, and then it shouldn't be as loud.
You're echoing too.
yeah.
I am.
We're all echoing.
Okay, is everybody echoing now? Yeah, I am. All right. Jalen. Oh, he didn't.
Oh, 1 second. I got you.
Okay.
I know this one guy. I think, I mentioned some of the presidents a few weeks ago that I want to get in touch with. I don't know if you know who Kevin Wilson is or not. He's like a pastor out of like I think California. Him, Justin Koo, and I think Caleb Easley are like close, and they're all like doing really cool things with social media. And I was thinking maybe you might have a connection, or someone else may have a connection. We can reach out to them and have them come in and speak to different clubs and stuff like that, because they're all Adventist content creators and stuff. So possibly we could reach out to them as well.
Yeah, there's Justin Coe is one, and his wife was in my youth group years ago, and he is that Christian vlogger. And he's also doing a whole podcast now called Growing Together. We may be able to get Justin to get on with us and give us some thoughts and ideas. He really knows the YouTube world. He does probably better than anybody in the church that I know of anyways. He's using it. He's got, I don't know how many thousands of followers now. I haven't checked lately, but seemed like it was over 40,000 last time I checked. So he's a major influencer on that. But Justin has a lot of good ideas, and it's possible that we can get him in on a video call at some point to kind of help us go through that whole deal. So, okay, somebody else, thoughts, questions of what we just talked about?
I don't have any questions right now, but if I have more, I guess I can ask you directly, right? Is that okay?
Sure, sure.
Okay, for
I'm
sure.
gonna be taking this video and posting it probably tomorrow. I got all 3 of the videos from the weekend up today. That's what I spent my whole day doing, basically. I had to edit out the songs because they told me that they were not copyrighted. They were copyrighted music, and I couldn't put them on. So I had to go back and redo all that. That was a pain, but anyway, because I was just going to post them straight across. But then I had to also found that where Betsa did not turn off the recording when we were doing the breakout groups. And so there was like a 10 to 15 minute break before we got back to the very end. And so I had to go edit all that out too. So, but those are up now, and they're on our Vimeo channel. And if you haven't seen it, let me just throw the links in the chat here. You can actually use these to give to people you think should have been there yesterday. Let's try that. There you go. So you can copy those and paste them onto something. The session 1, 2, and 3, that's all the Joseph series right there. Just a point of reference. Did you find those of you who were at the weekend? Did you find it helpful?
I did. I found it helpful. I was telling I saw one of I saw someone I knew yesterday, and I was telling them like all about it, and you're like, that's very interesting. It was just the whole thing.
So now you can send them the link.
Mm-hmm.
And on the links, I included the rest of the program. So we have those fascinating icebreakers by Chris that are also included in the video, but also at the bottom, if they just want to hear the sermon, I put sermon starts at, and so they can fast forward to that particular point. So anyway, those are there.
Thanks, Pastor Don.
You're so welcome. I'm glad to do it. All right. Any other thoughts or questions before we close things off tonight?
I'll throw out there. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, I have to unplug my headphones because the speaker microphone broke in my headphones. Anyways, I really liked how you talked about the personal invites, because that does way better than flyers or anything else we could do. And that's something I'm trying to do more with our students, is get those like personal invitations out. The other thing that I think is also make our programs more inviting to the individuals that we know, so that they're more welcoming for a personal invite. I know when I was in college, I was a part of Army ROTC, and they had the same struggles that we have, trying to recruit new people. And for them, it's kind of difficult because, we're all dressed in Army uniforms, working out at 6 o'clock in the morning. Like, nobody wants to do this. If you want to do it, you want to. You don't.
For me.
So like they ended up, what our cadre came up with was we were going to do a guest day. And any cadet who brought a friend with them, both the friend and the cadet got this really cool, like, Army workout, really nice material shirt. So pretty much all of us were like, hey, let's bring our friends. But other people, because it's really intimidating, let's go do leg day with the Army cadets who have not skipped leg day in over a year. Like, it's 6 a.m. It's really intimidating. But I think a lot of people saw it as like, hey, this is a once in a lifetime opportunity, and it's guest day. So there's going to be like just as many guests as there are cadets. So I'm not going to be the only like new person. And I think that took the edge off for a lot of people. And it was a lot of fun. Some people brought 3 or 4 guests, and they were like renting them out to other people so they could get a shirt too. It was a really fun time. But I think, doing an event where it's like very, very, very focused on being guest friendly instead of just inviting them to your normal, like our normal Bible study or something like that. That's kind of what I want to go with. But I think the key with that, though, the most important part is what you kind of talked about, Don, with the getting that personal invite. So it's reaching the people we already know. We have a huge pool of people. We already know their names, their families, their hobbies. Reaching those people is something, at least my chapter, we need to tap into more.
Yeah, everybody goes to class with other people and they get used to seeing them there. And you're there day in, day out, and you do pick up people that you want to study with or whatever. Those are the people that you can do. The personal invite will go a long ways with.
Yeah.
We're doing a game day, we're doing a hike, we're doing a whatever. Come hang out with us. And then at the same time, you can also do that survey that we talked about. Maybe when they come and they've been there and say, hey, we're thinking about doing some of the following things. Tell us what you think would be most interesting to you. So if you did a guest day, you could do that at the end, and that gives you further, fodder to go on to say, okay, we could shape this or whatever around. These are what they're saying they would like to see. So,
yeah.
And then again, every time you do it, a personal invitation helps until they've come 3 or 4 times and gotten used to it. Then they'll start looking at if they enjoy your group, they'll start looking at your social media and go, oh, I want to come to that too.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's good stuff.
But nothing beats the personal invitation. A friend. So, well, guys, it's been 45 minutes, and I'm trying to hold these to 45 minutes to an hour less, so because I know you're busy, lots of stuff to do. But I hope this has been helpful, and pray that you got something to use from it. And I just noticed the Bellevues came in a little bit late, but you guys can go back and watch the video. I'll have it up tomorrow on our ACF channel on Vimeo, and so you can. I'll send you the link. I'll send out the whole link to everybody. But anyway, yeah, I hope this is helpful to getting people to come who not like you. But anyway, that's the basis of it. It's not rocket science, but it does take some work. So let me pray and we'll go. Thank you, Lord, for a good day. Thank you for being with us as we spent this time. And we pray now you will bless each of these people, those that were with us before that had to leave for a meeting, and each of the chapters, Lord, as they seek to honor you and they seek to continue to do ministry. So guide, direct, give them ideas, give them insights. May your Holy Spirit lead them to the place that will be most effective for them in their chapter. These things we pray in Jesus' name. Amen. All right, guys.
All right, Pastor Don. Bye, everybody. Have a good week.
We'll see you guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Have a good night.